U.S.-Canada tensions. Florida's tourism numbers for the first quarter of 2025 show a decline in international visitors, even as domestic travel remains strong, according to data released by Visit Florida. From January through March, the state welcomed 41.193 million visitors, a total nearly identical to the same period in 2024. U.S. travelers made up nearly 92% of that figure, helping to keep overall tourism levels stable. However, the number of international visitors, particularly from Canada, is down. Visit Florida reports that 1.227 million Canadians traveled to Florida in the first quarter, a 3.4% drop from the same time last year. The dip comes as diplomatic tensions between the U.S. and Canada grow, including tariffs and annexation rhetoric from President Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Governor Ron DeSantis has dismissed the idea that political tensions are discouraging Canadian visitors and has called for shifting Florida's tax burden from property owners to tourists, particularly Canadians and Brazilians, through sales tax. Additional data from Statistics Canada shows even sharper declines in April. Car returns from the U.S. to Canada dropped 35%, and air returns fell nearly 20% compared to April 2024. Travel experts also report that airlines are reducing service from Canadian cities to Florida, including downsizing planes en route to Fort Lauderdale. Visit Florida also noted a slight dip in total overseas travel, down from 2.13 million in first quarter 2024 to 2.114 million in 2025. Florida has struggled to restore international tourism to pre-pandemic levels. In 2019, the state recorded more than 4 million Canadian and 9.8 million overseas visitors. Despite the first quarter slowdown, updated 2024 year-end numbers show a record 142.997 million total visitors, with 3.405 million from Canada and 8.938 million from overseas.
All right. So I got it. I sit on the TDC.
Yep.
Canada's in not just a recession, they're close to depression level.
Yeah.
So, tariffs haven't even taken effect yet.
I don't think
they haven't even went into place yet. So using that is just, that is political rhetoric.
It is.
Just so we're very clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to go down because people don't have excess money in Canada right now.
Yeah.
So it's, you can say whatever you want about the politics and stuff like that, but until their economy is stronger, we're not going to see another boost coming out of Canada.
Yeah, I agree.
They got to get their economy right. They've done this to themselves. They've devastated their own economy.
Yeah, 100%.
So and we love our Canadian. I mean, I speak fluent Canadian. So,
well, most of the Canadians.
Yeah, we don't count Quebec.
Yeah.
So they don't want they don't want to be in Canada.
Yeah, they don't want to be counted.
But so these numbers are going to be what it is because of what's happening financially in that country.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I agree. And I mean, the trend has been that there are fewer international tourists since 2019. I mean, it's going to take time for other economies to rebound. Other people made different choices than the U.S. made since 2019.
Florida did very well in 21. It did, because we were open, and a lot of places weren't open. A lot of states that people would go to and say, "Oh, well, it's a tie between Florida or going to, New York City." New York was closed, so it wasn't an option. Tie was easily made. So we have a little bit of saturation from, we went to Florida just a couple years ago. Let's go someplace else.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with a little bit of that right now, but we're still holding our own, at least here in St. Augustine and St. Johns County. We're fairly
numbers,
flat. We might be down a little bit, but we're fairly flat.
Yeah. Overall numbers from last year shows that we are holding, even if the breakdown of where our tourists are coming from. Mm-hmm. As far as the sales tax rhetoric, do you think that would deter tourists?
No, they don't look at it.
Yeah, I don't really think so either.
They don't look at it as a travel choice. I mean, like if you looked at what you paid in taxes in like Disney, you might not ever go.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
But you know what? Your kids say, I want to go to Disney. You're figuring out a way to go to Disney.
Yeah.
You were paid resort tax. You paid all these other, the bed tax. You probably paid like after sales tax. You probably paid like 13-14%.
Yeah.
And here it's closer to 11. It's like 11.5 because your sales tax is 6.5 and your bed tax is 5. But down there they have another tax, a resort tax on top of those taxes. So but that's not in your travel. The destination is
what you want to see,
not what you're paying in taxes. If you're traveling and you're making your decision by what you're paying in taxes, you probably shouldn't go on vacation. You probably should save your money.
Yeah. If you're Googling the tax rate, then you probably have too tight of a budget to be traveling.
But I mean, and it's a little deceptive because right now our occupancy is at the same level as what it was last year, but our ADR, average daily rate, is up slightly. So it gives us a look like we're up, but we're not really. It's flat.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, people go to Gatlinburg all the time, and they have crazy tourism taxes.
Oh yeah,
like insane tourism taxes. So
Dolly's got to get her money. The Queen.
Well, she's sending all the books to all the kids.
Yeah,
she's got to
get her money.
Offset somehow.
The Queen's got to get it.
So,
all
right. We had
it's a cool place, though. I mean,
it is a cool place.
If you're in Tennessee, Gatlinburg is your Disney. I mean,
oh yeah, we went a fall or two ago to Gatlinburg, and it was a good time.
Well, we had to get off the trail, and we happened to get off the trail at Gatlinburg right there. And unfortunately, one of the people hiking with me got COVID.
Oh no!
So we left him in the hotel. Made sure he was completely hydrated.
Go save yourself.
Make sure he's completely hydrated. But it was, I guess it was in 21.
Yeah.
And there was no lines. We went from like roller coaster to roller coaster to roller coaster. I was like, this is amazing. And it was the day Dolly was there. So I mean, it was all perfect.
I would love to meet Dolly.
Yeah.
She seems like such a sweet lady.
Yeah.